worked in the cultural adaptation for branding for the luxury industry. I had many strategy courses. We kind of had to master the game theory. At the beginning, I was really counting on myself, so it was quite hard because we never know if. But then I tried Thesify.
Welcome to our next episode of Thesify podcast, and with me here is Fanny. She's been our student in residence for the past few months, and you will probably also have seen her in our nice social media videos that she and her colleagues prepared. But today she's here to tell us a little bit about her experience as a student. So maybe you just start by telling us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. So hello, my name is Fanny. I just finished my master in HEC Lausanne, and I actually used Thesify to help me write my master thesis. Enfin, not write, but to help me with my master thesis. And it was a pleasure to work with Thesify during the past month.
Okay, so thanks. So you study at the HEC. Maybe you can explain a little bit what university that is. So for people who don't understand the abbreviation, and also tell us a little bit why you chose a particular university.
Yeah, so I did a bachelor in EHL. It's École Hôtelière de Lausanne, studying international hospitality management. And sadly, when I got graduated from EHL, COVID happened. So I wanted to continue, adding some value to my diploma. And I chose to continue my study at Université de Lausanne in HEC. HEC stands for Haute École de Commerce, meaning business school, basically. And I chose to continue with a master in management, this time specializing in strategy, organization, and leadership. And
Yeah, very good. So, in retrospect, are you happy with the choice of the university, or so did you choose why it's convenient, or?
Alors, at the beginning, it's true that I chose to continue my study because COVID and because of convenience. But then I was actually very interested in my study. It was very interesting. So. I didn't finish my study because of convenience, I would say.
Okay. So can you explain us a little bit what your subject was about?
Yeah. So my thesis was in the course of luxury marketing. So it's more about luxury marketing strategy. And specifically, I worked in the cultural adaptation for branding for the luxury industry.
That was already about your
it's a
thesis.
bit long.
It was a bit about your thesis already. We're coming to that. So in the main course of studying or for your master's degree, so how long did that take, and why did you choose a particular track?
Oh, so for me, I am, since I'm registered as a partial student, so I had to work on the side. So it actually took longer than a normal master.
Yeah.
And so I was partially working and partially studying. And basically, I had many strategy courses. We kind of had to master the game theory, but in theory. And we had management course, decision-making course, different marketing courses. Also we had some optional course. We could choose between law, there's law, accounts, finance. It's very broad. I mean, we have a common body, so the obligatory module, and then we have optional courses.
Okay. And for your thesis, how did you come up with the subject? Is it something that you chose, or is it something that your supervisor chose? Or
basically, I chose a course which is luxury marketing, and I really enjoyed the course. I really liked my professor. So it was funny because I did it the other way around. So basically, I wanted this professor to supervise me, and then I chose the subject according to the professor.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's the way to go.
But I mean, I really enjoyed the luxury marketing course. So those. Yeah. And so I asked the professor if she could supervise me. She accepted. And then I did an internship in the luxury industry field. And I looked about different subjects in luxury marketing. And I finally chose to research on cultural adaptation, because there is also a personal aspect to this subject.
So how long did it take you now to work on your master project?
Concretely, I would say, without counting the procrastinating time.
Okay, you can tell us about that in a minute.
I would say from getting the idea, getting the topic, reading about the topic, searching for the gaps, and also organizing the structure in my mind, I would say probably 5-6 months. But the last 2-3 months are really intense.
Okay. You can, yeah. So what's really intense? Like 24/7? No.
So at the beginning, it was actually quite easy, let's say, to procrastinate, because you need to search about the subject. You need to find where what interests you, and then find the gaps. So basically, you're reading about related subjects. You're trying to find different papers to interesting papers to give you the direction, and you're trying to fill in the gap. So even if during that time, even if you didn't write anything, but you just read the papers, you highlighted elements, you had the impression that you're working, right? But the really hard part is when you really had you had a collection of a lot of paper, and you already get your direction, and you already have an idea of the title, and you need to start writing. And this, I feel, was quite difficult to start writing, and so then you cannot cheat anymore with the reading paper. You need to have content.
So how was your day-to-day work? Were you working alone, or were you part of the research group of your professor?
No, I was working alone on this subject.
Alone. Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting, because a lot of times actually the students are kind of immersed into the day-to-day lab activities.
Yeah.
So how often did you see your supervisor during that time?
We mostly exchanged by email or by Zoom meeting. We've met once in my professor's office to organize what's next. And then most of the time it was through email and Zoom meeting, but we didn't meet a lot.
Yeah, so it must be really hard to work alone all the time. So how do you keep yourself motivated?
oh, this is a whole. It's true that at the beginning it was really difficult. It was because there is no concrete deadline.
Mm-hmm.
And so I needed to set the deadlines for myself, which was quite difficult because I've noticed that it was very, very easy to procrastinate finding the references. Because in the same times you're working, and actually I made the reference rabbit hole video on social media. So you have the impression that you're working, and so you're satisfied, but at the end, nothing moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. So how long did it take you then to write your thesis end to end?
I would say really intensely without stopping. It was actually around the end, I would say 2 months.
2 months. So that's the writing, right? The 2 months.
The intensive writing.
So when you started, did you start with an outline, or did you just stare at the blank page until the inspiration hit you, or?
The blank page syndrome. It was horrible. But to organize myself, at some point I was thinking, okay, I need to start with something. So I actually started with the table of contents. Of course, my final table of contents is not the same as the beginning.
So it's kind of, you start with an outline and then you to shuffle organize until it makes sense.
Yeah, because in my table of contents, I actually put the ideas, what I wanted in my thesis, what I think it's logical after the structure. And so it helped me to start somewhere.
So Stephen King, he said once in an interview that he tries to write 6 pages a day. And that's how he writes so much. So how much can, I'm now talking to the students who are starting. So how much can they expect realistically to write a day, roughly?
This really depends. For me, I wouldn't say that I had a fixed number of pages per day, but I try to do at least 1 chapter per day.
1 chapter per day?
Not chapter, 1 section, sorry.
1 section.
One section per day. It's one small line in my table of content. And even that was actually quite difficult.
We could do the math, right? Take, how many pages does your thesis have?
In total,
Just
65 pages
of
text.
65 pages. So basically, if you write 2 months on the thesis, that's 2 pages per day on average, right?
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah. But actually with my thesis, what was horrible, and I wish that to nobody, is at some point when I start writing, I get the idea and I just could write a lot. And the hardest for me was actually to cut the content afterward. Because at some point I reached 90 pages of text. And I asked my professor if it's normal for a master thesis. And she was like, no, Fanny, I'm not reading 90 pages of text.
So how often did she read actually your manuscript? Only once after you submitted, or in between as well? Did you get feedback?
No. So with my professor, actually, the way that we're working is before working really jumping in the writing, I had to do an expose. So in the expose, basically, I put already a kind of introduction. I'll tell her my direction of research, what I want to do, how, and roughly the chapters. Not the chapters, the section. This is a master thesis, not a doctorate. That I want in my thesis. And so actually this was taking a lot of time because by the end of the expose, it actually helped me to structure my thesis. So I sent her this expose, and she gave me feedback on it. And also for my master thesis, I have a qualitative part and a quantitative part. And so she gave me feedback for my quantitative survey questions, etc. So this was the big feedback. And then I sent some content to my professor about the news about what is happening now. But it's true that I felt, I mean, my professor, it's great, but I felt I didn't want to bother her whenever I had a question. Yeah, because...
So you didn't have a regular one-on-one where you could discuss?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. We had, from the university guideline, we had enough meeting, let's say, but I didn't want to send an email to my professor for any minor details because...
So did you have anybody else who gave you feedback on your manuscript while you were writing, or were you relying on your own intuition?
At the beginning, I was relying on my intuition. But then Thesify came. No, but to be honest, I at the beginning I was really counting on myself. So it was quite hard because we never know if. But then I tried Thesify.
It's very great that you had good experiences with that. So now, I mean, now you finished your thesis, right? And you told us you were very happy with the grade that you got.
I got a 6 out of 6.
Which is very, very good. So, of course, that's a very positive experience. It may make my next question a bit moot. So, would you do it again?
Maybe one day in the future. Not now.
Not now. But what would you, let's say you could give your younger self some advice. What would it be?
I would say it's difficult because after the experience, retrospectively, we see where we could have done differently, etc. But it feels like it's like exams. After you passed it, you give the advice to other people, like, don't worry, read your course, do your exercise, and everything will be fine. But before you're passing the exam, even though you receive those indication, but you're still stressing for the exam, right? I would say I will probably use Thesify, and this is sincere, it's not promotional. I will probably try to use Thesify earlier, sooner.
Did you use any other AI tools to help you along?
Yeah. I used Grammarly for helping me grammar check, spelling check. And sometimes when I'm really tired, I also use ChatGPT sometimes, but not for my whole thesis. And sometimes I'm just, I want to say something and I want to put different point in my sentence, but I really couldn't make the sentence sounds right. So then I asked ChatGPT to help me organize my sentence or my paragraphs.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you recommend other students who want to study your subject? Is there anything you would recommend?
My subject, because actually for my subject, I worked on the cultural adaptation and specifically in the Chinese market, because I'm French and Chinese. So I actually know the Chinese culture. But for people that want to do research in my field, I will say open mind, be open-minded and curious, because a lot of elements especially in different culture dimensions, sometimes we are taking for granted a lot of very interesting elements that we don't explore because we think that it is it's supposed to be normal, but actually not. Yeah.
Okay. Then, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
For your time and for being here. And we see each other on the next episode of Thesify's podcast or video interviews. I don't know how to call them. Okay, bye-bye.